hello, and thank you for making the time to join us for this regular webinar. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing a first-hand experience from challenge to solution for FREENOW. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. If there are any audio issues, please try dialing in using the numbers provided in your invitation. Also, feel free to submit your questions live in the chat during our presentation. We'll answer them as we go or in the Q&A session at the end. This webinar is being recorded and we'll be sending out the link over the next few days. My name is Henry Patishman. I'm Executive VP of Identity Verification Solutions at Regula, and I will be one of the two presenters for this webinar today. Just a few words about our company. Regula has been in the industry for over 30 years. It was founded in 1992. It all started with manufacturing of devices for banknote authenticity and ID verification purposes. From the very beginning, we've had all our research and development 100% in-house, which allows us to control and guarantee the quality at every step of the verification process. Currently, more than 80 country borders are equipped with Regula solutions and devices. Also, we proudly offer the most comprehensive library of identity documents from 251 countries and territories that is being used by thousands of our clients. Now, please let me introduce my co-presenter for this webinar, Oliwier Migasiewicz, Head of Operations at FREENOW. Over to you, Oliver.
Hi, good afternoon. Very happy to be here. So thanks a lot for the invitation. So as Henry mentioned, I'm Oliwier, Head of Ops at FREENOW. As my everyday work, I'm dealing with the areas across the board in our business, starting from more high-level ones, like, for example, strategy or analytics, to even more detailed topics, like, for example, process excellence. And today we will dive deeper on driver onboarding as an example of such case. So perhaps also a couple of words about our company, FREENOW. We are a multi-mobility application that operates in 9 European markets, and it stands for more than 150 cities at this point. We are a mobility platform that aggregates various transportation options, such as, for example, you can see in the slide, taxi, car sharing, e-scooters, but also quite a few of other ones. Basically, all reasonable types of mobility, allowing users to access them through a single application. Also, a fresh news, worth noting that recently we changed our ownership structure, and right now we are a part of Lyft, one of the top global ride-hailing players, so very exciting times.
Fantastic. Oliver, that's very interesting news, and I guess we'll have a bit more of a chat about that in the Q&A. But let's get started. So today you'll hear how FREENOW securely onboarded thousands of drivers while meeting tight new regulatory deadlines. But first, let me share some mobility market insights. So according to McKinsey, the global mobility services market, so that's including rideshare and car share, is projected to reach $615 billion by 2030. And that's growing at a CAGR of 10 to 12% year on year. Much of this growth is due to the global urban shift, where in major cities, consumers expect instant mobility options. Car, scooter, bike, no matter what mobility options, they expect it with minimal barriers, and that's pushing platforms to scale very, very rapidly. There's a major shift, a major rise in a variety of on-demand services, with tremendous growth, obviously, for rideshare companies like FREENOW, Uber, Lyft, Bolt, Grab, Didi, and others that now operate in over 700 cities around the world. Car sharing services like Zipcar, FREENOW, Getaround, Free2Move, and others are expanding as urban consumers prioritize on-demand access over ownership. And of course, who could forget the explosion of delivery services? So food, groceries, parcels, whatever it might be, companies like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Glovo, and others having experienced explosive demand during the pandemic, and the continuation of this high demand remains. For us, being an IDV vendor with extensive experience and unparalleled commitment to IDV, we make a point to closely collaborate with many analysts like Gartner, Forrester, and others, as well as place great emphasis to perfectly understand our customers' needs and consider and action their feedback. Thus, here I'm sharing and highlighting some of the key challenges on-demand services businesses face today. So fake driver's licenses, account sharing, and identity rental are major concerns relating to driver onboarding and also passenger safety. Digital IDs are continuing to gain traction, and we'll have a little bit more on that later in the presentation. There are also many changes in regulations, and they're becoming much more frequent. Generative AI is having major impacts in a number of different areas, and we'll talk some more about that as well. And customer expectations keep evolving, and customer experience is a major focus for everyone. There are also many region-specific challenges, and deepfakes and synthetic identities continue to be very challenging in many aspects. And of course, data privacy and ethics is a very real challenge and has rightly seen much attention drawn to it in recent times. Many here would be aware of the incredible number of and variety of traditional physical identity documents. As I mentioned previously, at Regula, our database is now over 15,000 different document types. But did you know that there is also a tremendous variety of digital identity documents, like mobile driver's licenses? And these are becoming more and more popular. At last estimate by the American Motor Vehicle Association, they estimated that there are 5 million mobile driver's licenses in use in the US, with only about 4 million of those being ISO compliant. And there's another 5 to 7 states looking to launch mobile driver's licenses in the very near future. And this is happening all around the world, and unfortunately, without much standardization. Therefore, the variety of IDs used is becoming more and more complex. And that's before we even mention any of the decentralized credential approaches. Now that I've covered a bit of the background, Oliwier, I would like to discuss with you the challenges and issues that arise during driver onboarding, what you faced, and what triggered you to rethink the onboarding process at FREENOW.
All right, Henry. So firstly, perhaps let's walk through what a traditional manual driver's onboarding process often looks like in case of some other companies, or could have looked like sometime before the transformation in our case. And where we are seeing that it could have been falling short back at that time, especially for fast scaling services like we are in FREENOW. So usually it starts with driver presenting a holistic set of multiple documents, such as, for example, in our case, passport or ID card, driver's license, and then also you have all the vehicle documentation, like, for example, registration card, or some industry specific topics like taxi license excerpt. And then, as a part of the process, driver takes a selfie for biometric verification. Ideally, when it's done in a good light and proper framing, obviously. And here it's worth noting that some automated guidance also needs to be provided, because otherwise the result could be often subpar, including for example, the digital document being blurry, having glares, or basically poor facial image quality. And then, after it's tackled, if there is no process automation already in place, the manual step would kick in. So then the human operator would review each document for topics such as authenticity, for example, completeness and accuracy as well. And that's all in order to manually compare the selfie with the photo in the ID. And then once the verification is complete, driver's data is exported into internal databases and also requires additional checks under the GDPR regulations or any other applicable regulations, like, for example, AML, which stands for anti-money laundering. And also, at a small case, this kind of, let's say, more manual setup might seem to be all good and manageable, but when we are talking about, for example, thousands of drivers going through the verification across the numerous cities and countries, it then quickly becomes a bottleneck. So here, let's imagine what might be the result of inefficiently approached process in this case, and what issue we can save ourselves from with proper process setup. So to be more specific, for example, in taxi industry, main risks we identified were including longer activation times, which is then contributing to further to driver frustration. Also more human errors and a greater chance of having unauthorized use of the account or even the fraud. So in our case, it was crucial to consider all potential issues already in the design phase of the process to make it, firstly, quicker, meaning it's less time consuming. Then the next point is to have this more automated, which is the case now, so it's less labor intensive. Next point would be to make it more consistent. So basically, when you have unified processes, they become more manageable and then scalable in the future when needed. And last thing that I wanted to mention here is that eventually you achieve the state of basically being error-proof to the extent that it's possible. And as each error slows down onboarding and also increases the risk, especially at scale, it's I think it's a very valid point. And then another aspect is basically the automation upside, as all of the manual checks might, for example, miss the subtle signs of document manipulation. And from our experience, it's especially worth to keep track of such cases in case of, for example, foreign IDs, which locally teams might not be necessarily very familiar with, or, for example, poorly captured documents. And if we go to the next slide, yes, we can also give you some background, as we need to remember that basically this topic complexity has increased a lot. So it wouldn't be a surprise to you that as of now, many industries are being regulated quite strictly. So regulations basically are seen to be tightening up across the industries. And one example, obviously, here is a taxi industry where we are operating, and to a huge extent, it was happening due to reasons, for example, related to keeping our users meaning both passengers and driver safe. So basically the safety reasons. And our processes have gone through a transformation also due to the mentioned changes in the legislation. So I would say that that's at least one upside of the regulations. And the regulations obviously might vary between the countries, which make the case even more difficult. So currently, FREENOW as the taxi service intermediary is obliged and provides verification identity and documents verification of our drivers. And of course, more fraud, especially sophisticated ones, as for example, deepfakes nowadays, also add complexity, especially with the rise of the more technologically advanced topics like for example generative AI. Also worth to mention that privacy still remains crucial and is increasingly in focus. And we also see the global shift towards the user-centric design, which was also one of the core points while developing the solution with Regula. So right now, wrapping up, that's how the new business as usual looks like for us and for mobility platforms in general. Okay, so someone might think, but why is it even important to us? So actually, because of a couple of reasons, and I tried to list the most important ones here in the slide, because most certainly the overall list would be much longer. But conscious of time, let's cover the key ones. So firstly, we care about our users, regardless whether we speak about the passengers or drivers. And we want them to be safe, both in a physical meaning, but also in a digital way. So that's also why collecting ID, documents in general, biometrics and personal data requires explicit consent and also strict data protection protocols. Secondly, also mobility services are getting increasingly similar to know your client standards, which you might know from the financial industry, to ensure smooth processes and also prevent any kind of frauds. And fraudulent driver accounts are secured from being exploited this way for any kind of illicit activities. And last point here, but not least, must ensure that both local legislations imposed on the industry and more general governance rules, such as, for example, data storage, access and processing, are met. And it's because these need to be compliant or risk fines for non-compliance that can be massive, as you can see specific numbers in the slide. And I think with this and all of the above formulated key requirements that are imposed on us and other intermediaries from different angles, so let it be business requirement or, for example, legislative regulation. And based on this, right now we can walk through the goals that we wanted to achieve and how we approach this. So, as you already have seen, the need for frictionless and secure driver onboarding was huge. And speed and security are also no longer trade-offs. And companies also must balance two conflicting demands nowadays. So firstly, it's having fast and intuitive driver onboarding that drives company growth. But also secondly, having in place strong verification that prevents fraudulent accounts and, as mentioned before, ensures the safety of all users. So I think the quite interesting part related to challenges of driver's license verification is that one of the biggest obstacles was verifying the document itself, which can be pretty tricky sometimes. So, as you perhaps can also see in the slide, they often have various quite complex backgrounds, have special fonts, some microprinting, also non-standard layouts, and all of these components might make them difficult to accurately OCR. OCR stands here for optical character recognition, obviously. And if you combine all of these factors, together with risk generators, such as, for example, poor OCR, that can result in the risk of fraud going undetected. In addition, that there are hundreds of different driver's licenses in a variety of languages, or that systems are not trained on enough document samples, and as a result might fail to recognize or incorrectly validate IDs. So when you see that all of this leads to increased document authentication, error rates, and growing risk of fraud when forged or modified templates would be used. And mobility solutions that operate internationally face a number of challenges without global document coverage. So with all this in mind, we needed a stronger ID verification process that would meet regulatory requirements. We also obviously wanted to select the best solution for comprehensive identity verification for our business. And this is how we and I ended up here. So as a result, we opted for a set of Regula software solution. And as you can see, it includes two solutions, so Regula Document Reader SDK and Regula Face SDK, which basically met our requirements, both in terms of technology as well as price. So having implemented the Regula solution allowed us to build a robust identity verification system to properly check both identity documents and biometrics as well, plus the criminal record of the drivers. And this in turn gave us instant validation of drivers, all automated and scalable as we wanted. Okay, I think this one is also quite an interesting slide. So along the customer journey, no matter the use case, it is crucial to run all the possible checks, regardless whether we speak about use of mobile or web technology, and regardless whether it's simply a document or something more advanced, like, for example, ID with set of biometric data. So, for example, speaking about the Polish case, driver verification is done in person at one of the 25 FREENOW offices across Poland. And the process is as follows. So firstly, a taxi driver provides industry-related documents, but also some generic ones, like, for example, ID card, or passport, that you all know how it looks like, and also driver license for verification. And at this step, Regula document reader SDK is automatically recognizing the type of the document. It reads through the data in all the document fields. It includes the visual and machine readable zones, barcodes, and NFC chips, basically anything that's needed. It then checks the authenticity of the personal data and the document itself. And then eventually it cross-compares all the information to check for possible inconsistency that, for example, might indicate any kind of fraud. And after this, the taxi driver goes through biometric verification with the help of Regula Face SDK solution, and then the face matching technology that we incorporated together with Regula verifies the identity of the driver and compares a real face image taken on site with the portraits in the documents to ensure the person is the very same one. And finally, after this, FREENOW checks the driver's criminal record. Optionally, we also wanted to personalize the setup, so depending on the city, taxi ID is also being verified via the visit. And finally, everything is good. And if no concerns arise, the taxi driver is registered in the FREENOW system. So basically, you can see how huge is the difference versus the standard process that I was describing in the very beginning in one of the first slides. Okay, so as we are heading towards the end of my part, I wanted still to show you how the new identity verification system based on, I believe, Regula Document Reader SDK and also Regula Face SDK is now helping FREENOW to check the identity documents and biometrics of several thousands of our taxi drivers in Poland. And our cooperation with Regula also enabled us, FREENOW, to timely adapt to new legislative requirements across the whole country. And thanks to the mutual engagement and dedication from both Regula team members and our FREENOW team, we succeeded in building a tailored solution meeting the very specific needs of the taxi industry. It is also important to note that the whole project of deploying the identity verification system was done just in under 6 months. So the company succeeded in meeting the timeframe requirements as per the law, and such a fast project completion was possible thanks to a holistic approach to technology implementation and ongoing support from all involved parties, obviously. So eventually we got to the most valuable source of product-related knowledge, which is basically feedbacks, driver feedbacks in this specific case. In our industry, it's quite often the case that even no feedback would be already quite a good feedback, because normally when users might not like something too much, it's way more evident that they are more willing to leave the feedback instead of like in the situation when they are very happy and then not necessarily everyone decides to leave an opinion. However, it is worth adding here that the most meaningful validation comes directly from our users themselves. And here are just a few examples of the feedbacks that we received during and after the onboarding migration process that were specifically related to this topic. So what this shows is that security and user experience are not mutually exclusive. And with the right tools and automations, I would rather say that these are rather supporting each other. And in our case, enabled us to create a workflow that's both trustworthy and human-friendly.
Fantastic. That's a really great example of how a complete IDV solution secures business processes and helps the user journey. Thank you, Oliver, for sharing those insights. Very, very interesting. Just to follow up on the challenges that you faced and the benefits you gained, I will provide some insights into the Regula technologies that actually boost driver's license verification. One of the main pillars, as Oliver mentioned, is obviously OCR, and a robust IDV solution must accurately extract and interpret driver's license data to ensure reliable verification. So what's more, especially in remote scenarios, OCR technology replaces a human inspector who would otherwise examine the whole document while also focusing on detail. So this makes OCR a crucial component in ensuring both accuracy and security in automated ID verification. Technically, OCR works the same way for any image containing text. The process consists of three main stages. So text detection, where the text areas within the document are identified. Text recognition, when the detected text is read and interpreted. And then post-processing, where the text is validated, corrected, formatted, and the data is extracted. Let's look at a real-world example for just some clarity. At a glance, can you distinguish the difference between the format of a Spanish driver's license from 2013 from the one issued in 2004? Honestly, I doubt it. But Regula OCR easily distinguishes this. It relies on the most extensive database of identity documents and automatically defines type, country, template, security attributes, and what the driver's license should have. Further, it can read text in dynamic features such as MLI, which is multiple laser image. And moreover, validation of dynamic features like Dynaprint helps ensure you deal with real, physically present and authentic IDs. By the way, Regula recently became the first provider to be able to verify all dynamic security features in remote document checks, and we're very proud of this fact. Our solution not only reads the document, it can also read the electronic chip embedded in e-passports, e-IDs, or e-driver's licenses. This can be done directly on the client's NFC-enabled mobile device, which already significantly minimizes the threat of fraud. However, when an end customer uses a mobile device for self-service to read data from an RFID chip, in some cases, it's actually not enough just to verify the data on the mobile device itself, as it's not 100% secure because there's a risk of verification results being modified by fraudsters directly on the same device. So what we've come up with is a zero trust to mobile approach, where Regula adds another layer of protection against such fraud with complete server-side verification of electronic identity documents that are scanned via mobile phone with NFC technology. With everything we do, customer experience is always central. That's why we also offer a high level of convenience with our one-shot identification feature, where we're able to compare a live photo and a portrait from a document within one image simultaneously. I guess that's probably sufficient information on some of our key features, and you can certainly have a look at our website for more details on any one of those features, or reach out to any of our staff members if you want more information. I hope that you found this webinar useful and interesting, and now we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Let's see. I think there are a few questions here. Okay. Here's one. Could you share what was your experience with Regula solution implementation? How long did it take to roll out the project, and were there any surprises? I'm guessing this one is for you, Oliwier.
Yes, I think so. Thanks for the question. So I'm pretty well aware about this context because I was also personally engaged into this project incorporation. So our implementation with Regula, I would say that was both fast-paced and also very collaborative, as I mentioned before. Also, we worked with a local partner, local distributor that helped us to choose and implement the most suitable solution, which was actually very helpful. Also, as FREENOW is a tech company, we provide a mobility super app for our clients, and it was highly important to implement a tech solution to offer our agents firstly a smooth but also a completely secure experience with ID verification mobile app. So also, as mentioned before, the driver's license verification process itself, I would say that added complexity across multiple jurisdictions, and here Regula's extensive document template library really made a difference for us and for the process itself. And perhaps to wrap up, worth to mention that integration into the existing infrastructure was another challenge. So within a tight time frame, as for us, it was just 3 months. But thankfully, we had a partner, a company that was kind of a third party and supported us during the implementation, and a dedicated team for it to ensure that everything was meeting the user experience standards, covering legal topics and any kind of today's tech expectations. So what can I say is that basically the SDK offered by Regula was flexible enough and kind of easy to work with, which in the end of the day helped us to go live actually faster than we expected. So that was very good.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Oliwier. That's very pleasing to hear from our side. Let's have a look at some more questions. Okay, here's one. Why is document liveness that important if there are other authenticity checks? Well, that's a really good question. Document liveness is no longer a bonus layer. It's now become a really essential step. So authenticity checks like verifying MRZ consistency or security elements are great when you have a clear image of the document. But the catch is that fraudsters are increasingly bypassing those layers by presenting screenshots or reprints or even AI-generated IDs. So this is where document liveness comes in. So with Regula, you can validate all existing dynamic security features, so holograms, OVI, MLI, Dynaprint, that you simply can't fake with a flat image. So it has to be a physical document present at the time of authentication. Otherwise, it will not pass the security checks. So that's, I guess that's the answer for that question, and thank you for asking it. What other questions have we got? Here's another one. Okay, what changes do you expect with the recent merger with Lyft? Are there any shifts in priorities or changes for driver or even user onboarding?
Okay, a good one. So, firstly, I would say that we expect a lot of great things happening and are very positive about this news overall. And perhaps it would be the most relevant here to relate to the area covered in the webinar. So I can say that I believe the acquisition underscores the importance of scalable and customizable verification processes, as well as standard unification. And I think together with the solution that we already have, it's putting us in a very good position, thanks to Regula as well. And perhaps worth to mention that the flexibility to support different document types, languages, also biometric verification and compliance with the standards or security. That is also a critical for global business, is setting us up for a very good head start for the coming time.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing the further growth and further services being offered. It's exciting times for you guys. Here is another question, and this one is Regula able to verify the ID number is correctly associated to the party per the state agency? Example, can it verify that an Arizona ID with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is associated to X person with the state of Arizona? Okay, good question, quite a specific one. So it really depends on the ID type. So if the link is actually present within the document, then yes, we will be able to extract that. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if it's a driver's license with a chip, with an NFC chip, we can certainly extract all of the data that's on the driver's license and extract the data that's on the chip and compare those to make sure that they are all valid and all the same person. If you're talking about database lookups of the DMV or the authority, no, that's not something that we do. We extract the data from the document, and then the database lookups can be done as an additional step if required. So anything within the document, yes, we can extract and verify and authenticate against each other. Anything external or third party, that can be done as an additional step through database lookups. Okay. Next, what strategies are effective in preventing portrait substitution or text substitution in identity documents? Good question. There are many strategies, and there are many technologies that we have built into our SDKs that actually help with this. So, and there's a vast range of technologies, and I don't want to spend the whole time for this question. We'll probably write a separate answer because there are a number of blogs on our website that are specifically dedicated to this topic. So I won't go into much depth on this. There's also a question in regards to pricing and operating model for our technology. I suggest just pop a quick email to any of our web contacts, and we'll be more than happy to answer the question for your particular scenario. That's it. Let's see, are there any more questions? No, I think that's probably it. I had one for you, Oliwier. Are you doing much in terms of re-verification of drivers? And are you also looking at doing biometrics for customers in the future?
Hopefully, yes. Right now, we are focusing on the driver segment because we see it as the crucial focus at the very moment. Regarding the re-verification process, it's also a very interesting thread because even as we speak, we are running some test integration via API with some governmental websites that provide very specific industry-related databases. So that's one thing. But there is also another thing that's probably worth mentioning here. And it's also one thing that we are kind of imposed to do with the most recent novelization of the Legislative Act. And in our case, we are basically checking each and every driver, whether he is indeed the very same person that he claims to be. So including the photo verification versus, let's say, selfie verification versus what we have in our databases with the specific cadence set up in line with the legislative requirements. So it is actually the case and it is happening.
Fantastic. And what about plans for actual rideshare users? Are you looking into doing biometric and identity verification of users for driver safety, I guess?
So, as you imagine, product pipeline is a very packed up place in the corporational hierarchy, and it is definitely a part of the backlog. However, we need to prioritize some topics that are crucial, and in our case, focus on one side of the marketplace that we described today was the topic that we selected as the more urgent one. So at the moment, that's how it looked like.
Fantastic. That was great. Thank you very much. If there are any other questions, please do email them to us. We'll be more than happy to answer them via email. And on that note, that's pretty much all for today. I'd like to thank you all for your great participation in the webinar, and like to thank you, Oliver, for making the time to share your story with us. And please do not hesitate to contact us after the webinar in case you have any additional questions. We will certainly be more than happy to assist. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.